Hey everybody, this is Matt with my Model Y adventure, and today we're going to be putting in a heated yoke with real carbon fiber on the sides, on the bottom, on the front, and replacing this custom carbon fiber steering wheel, and included with it is a new airbag cover. So I'm going to be replacing this one. I've loved this one for the last kind of 6+ months that I've had it installed. It is winter. It's cold here in the Chicago area. And the only thing with this one that I would improve is having a heated steering wheel. So I'm going to be putting in the yoke, which actually has a heated steering wheel. A heating element in the yoke to be able to give me and my wife the comfort in the winter. I know it's a first world problem that we don't have a heated steering wheel. I know the stock one has a heated steering wheel, but this aftermarket one we've loved. It's very comfortable, but just the heating element not included is kind of one thing that we wanted to change. And I also wanted to give the yoke a try to see how we like it. So stay tuned and we'll walk through how to remove this one. I'm going to be doing a separate video on how to put on and replace the airbag cover and show you step by step how I in essence replaced the stock one and cut it and then put the airbag in it. So stay tuned to the video. So I picked up this yoke from T-Vibex. This is for the Model Y, and this is the white one that has carbon fiber around the sides. And you can see kind of by this wire in the middle here, has a heating element. So it will help provide us some comfort in the winter time. So to remove the stock, or if you have an aftermarket wheel, to remove it, it's very simple. It's going to depend on your Model Y. But down here on the bottom, you can see there's one hole here. And then on the other side, if I can move the camera around, another hole there. And you in essence have to stick a tool. And in my case, I'm just going to use some Allen wrenches on both sides. And that's going to unplug the steering wheel. So in essence, if I take a look at the yoke here, there is a metal insert that is going in under this one, that has to be removed. And by basically squeezing it, you're allowing the airbag itself, which is basically pushed into these 3 spots, to pop up out of it. Now, before we remove any of the airbag or any of the electrical, I'm just going to power the car down. So down here to safety, scroll all the way down, power off. So you can turn the power back on by pressing the brake pedal, but I'm just going to power off, and we can see here now that the screen for both the OEM one as well as the aftermarket one are powered off. So let me stick a tool down in this hole over here. I can slide kind of, there we go. I'm trying to do this looking through the camera, and you're going to in essence feel around for kind of a metal thing. You can kind of hear it, I hope. And it pops this side of the steering wheel, or I'm sorry, the airbag cover out. So I know this side is basically taken care of. Let me do the same thing on the other side. So after you push in from both sides, the airbag cover will kind of just pop off. And behind it are 2 harnesses that are plugged in. The yellow one to the right over here is for the airbag itself. So that one you're going to want to remove, and then the purple one is for the scroll wheels that are on both sides. Now the steering wheel, or I should say the yoke from T-Vibex, comes with a replacement matte carbon fiber finish. I chose matte. That's kind of the preference color I have, but you're going to use, and these are the same stock kind of scroll wheels that are on the original OEM steering wheel. So those you reuse. The metal bracket that you're pushing in, which is what this is here, that you're going to reuse. And then this black part in here that kind of goes all the way around, that you're also going to reuse to put into the yoke. So you are reusing a number of pieces to keep it kind of as stock as possible. So there are you can kind of see here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. We can focus camera without looking blurry, maybe. I'll use this so it doesn't try to focus on it. There's kind of a push tab here on the top, another one on the bottom, and that's on both sides, also on the yellow one over here and underneath the wire that you can't see. So you can just squeeze and remove those if it helps. You can use, let me zoom back out here, a pair of needle nose pliers to kind of just squeeze those two while you pull. You just want to make sure while you're pulling, you don't just grab by the wires and pull out, grab the actual plug to remove it, because you don't want to depin or pull these wires out of the actual plug. So let me get these removed, and then you're going to want to actually remove the steering wheel or whatever you have installed itself. There's a 10 mil bolt right here that you can use to remove. So I'll be right back after I remove both of these plugs. So I have unplugged the scroll wheel kind of plug here, as well as the airbag cover. What I found was helpful is when you're trying to remove it, you can push down, like for example, what I did was push down the top part of the harness here of the plug and was able to kind of angle it and then use my finger to push in the bottom one and then pull it out. There are, you can see here, a little bit of kind of wiggle room. Let me move the camera. A little bit of wiggle room with kind of the receiver for where the plug actually inserts. So it does move around a little bit. So the next step I have here, a 1/2-inch impact to remove the steering wheel itself, the bolt for it. It comes, it does not come with kind of this attachment. This actually came with the steering wheel I picked up from Pimp My EV that came included. But otherwise, you can pick it up at a local hardware store. I'm using just a Ryobi battery power operated one impact to remove it. This is a 1/2-inch kind of bit on here, so that will make easy work of it. If you don't have a power tool to remove this, it is kind of difficult to remove the bolt itself. I've seen people use kind of a breaker bar to be able to use it. If you don't have that, having a friend, and if you have a socket, a friend hold on to the wheel, because it's obviously going to want to turn when you're trying to undo the bolt. So, all right, sorry about that. I hit the recording button with my finger and it stopped the recording. So I'm going to insert this into the here and go ahead and remove this bolt. Let me try to get out of the way of the shadow here. So having this makes quick work to be able to remove this. But again, if not, you might struggle a bit and it might be a little difficult to remove. And obviously you want this bolt to be on there very tightly to be able to secure the wheel so it does not come off while you're driving. So I'm just putting the impact down behind me. And then, in essence, you're going to want to wiggle to help remove the steering wheel off of on here. Now, you'll see it is kind of, let me see if I can zoom in here without it getting super blurry. That's really blurry. You can see it is kind of keyed where it has those slots where everything is inserted into. So there is only one way to kind of put the steering wheel on. So you don't have to worry about with others, you know, I'd say like spots where you put the wheel on. You need to make sure that you put on so it's not crooked. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad alignment with it. So this only goes on one way. And when you do remove it, you might have to kind of wiggle it back and forth with both hands to help do so, to remove it from the actual part where it inserts onto the steering wheel. So let me see if I can do this one-handed. May not be able to because it's on here pretty tight. Might need two hands here to do this. So let me pull this off and then we'll continue on with what the next steps are. All right, now that the steering wheel is off, we need to remove the 4 black screws that are in here. And that is in essence what is holding on this plastic trim as well onto here. You can't pry this off until you remove those screws. So you need a T25 bit, which is what I have on here. I'm going to do a quick shout out. I got this LTT screwdriver for Christmas from my wife. This thing is awesome. It makes removing screws or bolts with kind of that ratcheting motion super simple and satisfying. Big fan of it. She actually bought it when they had a kind of Black Friday deal. I think it was like only $40. I know these are much more expensive normally price-wise. but it has come in handy so many times. So let me remove these other 2 screws. You don't need to watch me undo some screws, but there's 4 of them, one in the top right corner, the left corner, bottom left, and right corner. So I have 3 out of the 4 screws undone. The last one is underneath this part over here, and you can't really get to it without removing the black kind of inserts that hold on to the airbag cover. To remove those, it's actually pretty simple. There's, you can see here, kind of on each side, you gotta kind of squeeze. Oh, there we go. Squeeze and push on that side. I'm trying to look through the camera and do this at the same time. So when you're doing this in person, it will be a little bit easier to do so. Let me try to get a different angle over here. Squeeze and push. Oh, didn't get that one all the way. There we go. And then down here on the bottom, again, kind of just squeeze and push out. That will release the plastic kind of insert here, so you can get to the last screw that's holding on the trim piece. At the same time, you can take out the metal kind of plug, or not plug, the metal bracket here that holds everything into place. I'm going to just put that off to the side. And then you can remove this as of right now. Then you just got 1 more screw you got to remove. All right, that one's out. So that's all of the screws. We've removed that. So then you should be able to just remove this plastic trim cover. I'm trying to do this one-handed. You can see it inserts here at the top. It goes all the way around. There we go. That side's kind of undone. See if I can do the same thing on this side. There we go. And then that just kind of pops out on the top and then down here on the bottom. I think that's it. So that is removed from the steering wheel. So there's nothing in here now that we need. Everything has been removed. So the next part of what we need to do is, in essence, remove this part that was the plastic part here that has all the plugs connected to it. Take these out. There's a couple of screws that are holding everything together because we need to put that into the yoke. So let me get the right screwdriver bit and I'll be right back. You can see it's some tiny screws on each side that are holding it in. So let me get some screws and I'll figure out what size it is and let you know. All right, so it's a T10 Torx bit. There's the screw here, another one there, another one there. Same thing on then the other side here. This one, this one, this one. And then there's 2 bits right here and right here that you need to remove. And I believe that's it. That's for the bottom part here. So let me get all these 3, 6, 8 screws undone. And then we'll start installing some of this stuff into the new yoke. So I've removed everything from the old kind of housing. You also need to remove the scroll wheels from kind of these inserts here. They're held on with some Phillips head screws. That one, I've already taken the screws out. But you can kind of see here on the top right by my finger and then the bottom right by my finger. And they're kind of held in with these push tabs. So just grab like a flathead screwdriver. There's 2 on that side, 1 on this side. Just in essence, pry the tabs so you can remove the module from here. And then you're, in essence, after you remove it, going to stick it right into the new one. So I'm not going to show that. It's 2 screws and you're just prying it out. But you kind of get the idea of what's, in essence, holding the module into this plastic or carbon fiber plastic trim. So I've put the scroll wheels, the modules, in each side. I need to secure them with the 2 Phillips head screws that are on both sides. But the next step that we're also going to want to do is put the the stock kind of wiring harness here This blue plug down here is for the heated steering wheel, and then you have on the left and right side for the scroll plugs. You're going to want to put this into the new yoke along with the metal trim piece that I have down here somewhere. So you can, down here, sorry, it wasn't putting the camera there. So we can complete kind of the installation. So let me put the screws that are holding this module for the scroll wheel on each side into kind of this plastic shell here. And we're also going to put, this is for the steering wheel, the heated steering wheel. I have the metal trim piece right here. We can actually put this in right now. Just slides into the bottom, and then you can kind of just push in on that side, push in on that side. Then you're also going to take this new harness, not the new one, but I should say the stock one. That's going to get inserted into here with this. So what I would recommend is, in essence, you're going to screw, move it over to here so you can see a little bit better. Screw this module that basically is like kind of the ECU or the brains of the steering wheel, I guess. Screw that down onto here. I do recommend putting the heating element underneath here. So basically it would go on top of the plastic piece that I'm pointing on and underneath this piece. And it can kind of just sit into there. And then you're going to plug in the scroll wheels on each side. And once that's done, then we'll be able to put the black plastic pieces here, and the one on the bottom back into the yoke. So let me get the screws into the scroll modules. I'll put the screws into here. I'll plug in the heating element and kind of hide it in between here. And then I'll show you putting the black pieces into the yoke so we can kind of wrap up the assembly piece of this. So I've reassembled everything. I put the faceplate back on. I put the 4 screws that are on all the sides. I've tucked in the heating element down into here underneath this kind of trim panel. That metal kind of bracket is already put in. And then kind of the last step is to put these black inserts back into here on kind of all the sides. So you'll push those in, and then you can reassemble the steering wheel, or in this case, the yoke, back onto here. So let me see if I can push these in one-handed while I'm trying to hold the camera at the same time. Don't know how well this is going to turn out, but let's see here. So you can see there's the black kind of tabs that stick out on both sides. All right, I don't want to break these as I put them in. So let me put them in, and then I'll kind of give you any tips around what the process is after I do so. So the plastic pieces are kind of fully seated in. I recommend starting at the bottom and kind of when you're pushing it through, let me flip this over so you can see a little bit better. The tabs, it's easier to kind of push it at an angle on one side and then using your thumb pushing up on kind of the other side. Kind of, you can see my finger back here, pushing towards me, towards the camera to kind of fully seat it. I did the bottom, then I did this side, then I did this side. That way you don't have to worry about kind of messing it up or breaking them. They fit in pretty easily. So now that that's completed, we can actually insert the yoke onto the steering column here. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Trying to hold the camera here and then push at the same time. So it's kind of seated on here. All I have to do now, let me zoom out a little bit, is just in essence push the yoke all the way down onto the steering column. And then the next step we're going to walk through is the airbag in the cover. So let me push this all the way on and then we'll get to the airbag. So you can see that is now plugged in, and take your airbag and the airbag cover. And when you push it in, it's probably going to honk. So mine's plugged in. You can hear the honk. And then you can press the brake pedal. Car will kind of boot up. And of course it's flashing because I don't have my seatbelt on. But there's no error messages. Oh, my wife is opening the door because she wanted to make sure everything was okay because she heard the horn. So here is the yoke. Now, a couple reasons I wanted to get a yoke steering wheel, or I guess just call it a yoke, not a steering wheel. One is being able to see the dashboard screen that I installed. I love having this on here to be able to see things like my tire pressure PSI. It's another way to easily see your speed, a whole bunch of things. I have a separate video I'll kind of have showing up here in the corner. Hopefully I remember to do that. But it also displays the same information that you have up here. So it's just a nice alternative way to be able to see information. Separately, I wanted to get something new, be able to have heated functions in here that the stock one did not. So, not the stock one, the aftermarket one I had. So let me press the temperature, and I'm going to press both bacon strips on here. You guys obviously watching won't be able to feel if this gets warm, but I'll be able to feel it. So let me keep kind of talking and as I work through that. So wanted to get a different look. And I know the yoke is a very decisive, or I should say dividing product. People either love it or hate it. I can already feel it getting warm, especially right here on the front. On the back where my fingers are, I can feel it getting warm. Down here, I can definitely feel it in kind of my palm. Same thing, definitely down on the bottom side over here as it heats up, and then the side. So heated function is working awesome. So let me kind of turn the bacon strip off. I'm gonna leave it on auto. That way it will turn itself on and off automatically. But I wanted something different here. Being able to rest your hand is going to be able to be nice. Keeping it up here and steering. I know it's a very dividing product. People are torn. Do they love it or do they hate it? So I'll kind of let you know my thoughts. I'm going to use this for about a week. I know it, and then post an update right after this kind of part of the video. For you guys, it's going to be seconds, but I'll kind of give you my honest thoughts on what I think of the yoke, its performance compared to an actual wheel. So having FSD just do some navigation I put in my destination as home, to talk through kind of what my thoughts are on the yoke. I've had it installed for about a week now. I think it's been 4 days. And after kind of the change of going from a steering wheel to a yoke, I'm pretty happy with the change. Aesthetically, I like the yoke cover, this part, better than what I had on my carbon fiber steering wheel. I enjoy that it is heated because it's nice, especially in the Chicago area here. When you're parked outside, you know, or maybe in a garage it's not well insulated. Steering wheel gets cold. First world problem, I guess, you know, that you got to kind of deal with that. But I do appreciate the kind of like the white trim that's on the top or the bottom here along the edges. It kind of, I think, makes the yoke in the white version pop a little bit better, because then you don't have kind of that black or gray trim that doesn't necessarily match anything else on the yoke or the steering wheel. So even if I switched back to my steering wheel, I think I'm going to put this, if I did do that change, this kind of cover in the airbag cover on the steering wheel. But I'll have to say, like, quality wise of the yoke, I'm very happy with it. The kind of stitching that's on the top and then kind of the back sides here, I have not had any issues with it like tearing or peeling, or it's not uncomfortable to rest your fingers or hands on. The matte finish, well, I know it's just kind of like a plastic, like an ABS material. It looks nice, and I don't have any complaints with it. It matches. I got these kind of stock covers. I don't know how well you can see it here, from, I think it was Temu or AliExpress, and it was like $1 to ship them. And it matches those pretty well. So I'm kind of happy with that. The usability of going from a steering wheel to a yoke, definitely I'd say takes a little getting used to. And I guess it's the same with, you know, folks going to like a Model 3 Highland, where you don't have stalks you have to use the buttons on your steering wheel. It's just kind of a mindset change of going from something to something completely different. I do appreciate using the yoke and kind of making turns, because you don't have to use, I mean, I guess it depends on the severity of your turn. Are you doing a U-turn? Are you doing just maybe 90-degree turn from going straight to right or straight to left, or just changing lanes? You don't necessarily have to use your hands that much with a steering wheel potentially. With the yoke, it's similar. It definitely, I can see where folks can get confused. Can I go an arm over arm as the approach, keeping both hands on the yoke? I found it a lot easier, especially if you're just doing, say, like a 90-degree turn left or right. You can use your fingers and just kind of push down on the top, or if you're going left, or if you're going right, just kind of pushing up here with your thumb. I found it was pretty useful, and especially if you like to rest your arm up here on the door trim. It's a pretty easy maneuver to go left or right with that. So I've been pretty happy with it. I don't have any complaints with it. My wife is still getting a little accustomed to it, isn't entirely sold yet on it. But I'll put a link down in the description below to where I picked this up from T-Vibex. And I think this was $450, $420, $430, something around that. That includes the yoke itself in black or white. And then there's also airbag covers that you can choose with the logos to be like, and the same with, I guess, the trim here, gloss or matte trims. And I'll also include a discount code, which I believe is Adventure as well, down below, to save a couple of bucks on the purchase. But hope you kind of enjoyed the install process. It's a very simple process. I literally did it in my driveway, a week ago. You don't need power tools. You can just use hand tools. It's a little easier with power tools. But hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks, everyone.